Welcome, folks. A warm welcome to you to our IMEX America webinar on how to win more leads. And today, my focus is on how to help you to get into the head of the client in order to prepare on a deeper level for IMEX America. You know, the trade show business has been different for sure over the last number of years. IMEX America did happen last year, and numbers are looking very, very healthy for this year's also. And I think the great thing to remember is that at these trade shows, the people who are attending are really serious. You know, I think what has happened is that the people who used to just, you know, turn up, kick tires, not really all that serious about buying, didn't perhaps have something really definite in the pipeline. I think that most of those people are not traveling. And so the people who are there are serious, are looking for solutions to the problems that they have. They're there to do research, and they are there to be educated also in terms of what's new, what's happening, you know, who has come out of COVID in a really strong position, what's different, what can they bring back to their clients, what ideas can they get in order to be of value to their clients. And a very important part of your role will be educating people on that side of things. Okay, so I have a few slides to share, and I want to get through them, but at any stage, please just say, Ciara, I have a question, and we can you know, I'm happy to pause and make sure that everybody is happy getting their questions answered. Okay, so what I want to share with you today is how to attract the right buyers to your booth. Okay, so that's going to start with your effort, your profile, the messaging, the marketing messaging that you are putting out there in terms of attracting the right kind of buyers, and ensuring that you're having more quality conversations with the right types of people. So we're going to look at those, the IMEX profile, going to share some tips, what I've seen work. I've been doing this education and this workshop for I think about 5 years now at this stage. So, you know, some things have changed, some things happened, and I want to show you what really does work. So if you see me tapping at the screen like this, is I have people joining that I don't have my production person on today, so you'll have to just bear with me for a few minutes while I let people in. And I'm also going to be focused on some tips on delivery on the day. Okay, so I've decided to do a second workshop on September 20th. Sorry, folks, just to let you, just to mute yourself there on entry, okay? Because it's an open meeting and we'll be able to hear you. So I may not get to an awful lot of delivery on the day suggestions today, but I'm doing another one September 20th. And so we'll definitely go a little bit deeper there, okay? So what I'm going to share with you genuinely works. And Maro here, she changed her IMEX profile and she changed her invitation wording as per my tips. And then she had double the appointments that she had the previous year. Okay, so doing something different does work. And that's really what I want to share with you today. And I love interaction. I love people to ask questions. I love to feel like we're in the same room. Okay, I'm not just talking to myself. So I'm going to offer a prize of my book, Steps to Win in the Meetings Market, for the most amount of meaningful questions. And if you want to do some LinkedIn activity, share some screenshots, you know, say whatever you got from today's workshop, that would be fabulous. Also, make sure to connect with me. So for the moment, let me check with you folks. What do you see here?
It looks like a person. doing a back handstand or a back, like on their back.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. Yes, I haven't heard that angle before. Yeah. Anybody else? You can put it in the chat box if you want either.
I think it looks like a shopping cart with a little head coming out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I've seen that. Stick drawing of a dog, says James. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. So there's a number of different ways, and different people see different things in this. You could see the dog, like James. You could see the cat. You could see a cow. You could see a man in a bathtub, perhaps. But doesn't matter what you see. The point here is that these are drawings of a 5-year-old, and when you were 5, we all thought we were brilliant at drawing, right? And so for a few minutes, I want you to draw. And I ask that because there is a link between our hands and our brain. And it helps us when we draw. It helps us to tap into the creative part of our brain, which we may or may not use every single day. So what I'd like you to do, whether it's in your workbook or a scrap piece of paper, is to draw how you would feel if you achieve your revenue goals or whatever goals you have from IMEX. Okay, so just draw how you think you will feel. Okay. And just go with the exercise. Doesn't matter what it looks like. I'm really just getting you to tap into that part of your brain. Okay. Colette, lovely to see you there. Great to put a face to the people I've been over and back on email with. Courtney, you too. Good to see you here. You were seeing a baby in a crib. Very good. Tamara was seeing a dog also, and Nicole, person taking a bath. Very good. Now, of course, if anybody wants to share their drawing, they're welcome to do that too, or maybe just describe it in the chat box. Can I ask you to just check your audio there, folks, and just put it on mute, okay? Might be you, James. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it is. I'm going to put you on mute, James, okay? Now, I know you might be tempted to check your email, send a proposal, whatever it is, when we're doing this, but I'm just asking you try to focus in on this, because you will walk away with a lot more in the next hour if it is that you're focused in on this, okay? Very hard to multitask. Okay, so what do we have? Anybody want to put it in the chat box? What have you drawn? Have we got fireworks? Ooh, like it. Fireworks, very good, very good. Smiley faces, me being happy, jumping around, confetti all around. Stick figure with a happy face jumping. I'm very good at the stick figures myself, Amanda. Hands up in the air, celebrating. Woo! Okay, okay. Because you know what? It's an investment. It is a serious investment, not just in time, but in money and resources and your energy. And we want to make sure that you achieve that. Okay, so one thing that I feel is so important in order to really get to that next level of trade show success, but also sales success is is to create some of these mighty moves. And one of the mighty moves that I really help my clients to do is trust, right? Is to build trust. It's a very, very powerful move. And this is a photo of my dad and myself. And I still remember that feeling of elation, you know, when he just threw me up in the air and of course caught me every time. And when you think about the meetings, the conference and the incentive market, people really put an awful lot of trust in you and in your brand, because when they choose a venue, when they choose a destination, when they choose a technology provider or service provider, they're almost giving you their reputation, right? And because if something goes wrong, everybody's going to turn to the organizer, right? And also the company is placing their reputation and the brand of their company over that of yours. So it takes an awful lot of trust and confidence in order for them to want to do that. Because if something does go wrong and they lose face, if their reputation is damaged or if their brand is damaged, then that has, you know, really big implications. So trust is the undercurrent and the foundation of everything that I'm going to be talking about, but it's something that very cognizant for you to be aware of, that you need to be building that right from the beginning, right from the minute they land on your profile on the IMEX website, decide whether to click, go further, or to, or to look at your competitor. So, you know, who am I? Where's all this coming from? Well, I have my foundations in the industry working with IHG in the 90s, late 90s in San Francisco. And then I moved on to open the Omni San Francisco Hotel. And then I moved back to Ireland in the 2000s and I founded findaconferencevenue.com. And so that was kind of like a C-Vent before C-Vent got really, really massive. And I also offered a personal venue finding service in that. And I didn't realize it, but that really helped me to develop that sense of how the client looks at a business. And I could tell from a lot of people sending me proposals, from trying to pitch to me to get my business, that I could see what was going wrong. I could see why they weren't winning business. And I love this industry. You know, this is an amazing industry, right? And so I really wanted to help people. So I decided to write a book. And the book, it took about 3 years to get it out. But the book really helped me to get clarity and to create what I call the steps to win. And that is what I've been teaching in the industry for about 10 years now, online since 2014, and in person in workshops. So I want to share with you some of those tips that'll help you to really nail IMEX and to get that right. But I'm curious also, like, how what percentage of your business comes from trade shows, or what do you want to get in terms of in terms of leads, percentage of leads? Is it 10 to 20% of your leads for the year that you expect to get from going to trade shows? Is it 20 to 35%? Is it more than 50%? I'm just curious in general what goals you have in terms of not just attending IMEX, but attending other trade shows. Like Nicola, you were sharing that you have 6 more trips this year, some of them are trade shows. So I'm just curious, coming out of COVID, what percentage of new leads do you hope to get from, from attending trade shows? And feel free to put that in the chat box there, because I think it's important to get clarity on, what are your expectations from attending events? Do you have a monetary goal? Do you have a number of leads that you want to get? Or do you have a number of meaningful connections? Because some people, they have it in their sales plan from last year that they need to get X amount of leads, because you know your conversion rate, and you know if you get X amount of leads that you'll convert a certain amount. You perhaps know your average sale value. So I'm just curious if all of that is thought through in advance, because it does help to know what you want to get from these shows, in order for you to come up with a plan for each show on how you're going to do that. Okay. Some people I know just rock up to a show, just show up and hope that they're going to make the right kind of connections. But I know that that the more you prepare for these events, the more meaningful connections, the more leads, the more revenue you're going to get from that. And may I suggest that a very important outcome from these shows is to get a second meeting, because you have limited time. You have maybe 20 minutes, and it's very hard to to make the kind of impression that you need to make in 20 minutes. It's very hard to have the business conversation that you need to have in those 20 minutes. So I suggest that you ensure that you're interesting enough that the client says, you know what, let's talk next week, and you get another hour of their time, and you set up a Zoom call or a virtual call or whatever, in person if they're close to you. And I feel that that is a very important goal for you to have. How many qualified second meetings and meetings in the calendar? You're sending them a calendar appointment that you're going to have a conversation with them next week, because they need to talk more. Okay, so Nicole, your goal to come up with 10 to 15 meaningful connections and 5 leads. That's a good goal. I think that's that's realistic. Melissa, 2 to 5 new leads and 10 to 5 to 10 meaningful connections. Good. That's great, because I've had people come on these workshops before and say they wanted to have 70 meaningful connections. And that is really, really hard to achieve. So I want to make sure that, your expectations are realistic. I would hope that you get more than 10 or 15 meaningful connections. And in terms of leads, sometimes a lead can take 2 years, so it's about your plan. If you feel that there was a connection, that they're a right fit, what is your plan to ensure that they still remember you next year when they are ready, or in 2 years? The association business it's a long sales cycle. So, what is your plan to ensure that you stay relevant to them, and when the business comes along, that they think of you? Okay, so that's another consideration to have. Okay, folks, does that make sense? The second meeting, does that make sense? Yeah, you might put it in the chat box there. Okay, great. So I want to talk also about the customer experience and the participant journey, which is such an important part of the sales cycle, because it's going to start in the next few weeks, when the customer, your potential client, is starting to prepare for IMEX. And what I want to do is I want to make this really practical, and I want to share with you some examples of profiles and also outreach or marketing emails, appointment emails that people send. And I want you to let me know whether you're going to swipe left or swipe right. Okay. I was in San Francisco recently, and I was at Meeting Professionals International, WEC. And I used to live in San Francisco, and I spent fabulous time with a good friend of mine, and she's in the dating market. And I was just really amazed at the amount of time she spent on Bumble. And I was observing her swiping left, swiping right. And, she made some split-second decisions on whether she was going to swipe left or swipe right. So it made me think, a lot of the time buyers, they're making instant decisions. And with an event like this, they're going to decide pretty quickly, are they going to meet with you or not? Okay, so we're going to make it interactive. I'd love your feedback as to if there are, you know, swipe left or swipe right moments for you, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so some of you were very gracious to share with me your profiles, and I want to go through some of them also. But let's start with that swipe left, swipe right. And this is my steps to win process that I created. And the step one is really all about how do you stand out and how do you sound different, you know, so that the client wants to swipe right and immediately their interest is piqued and they're thinking, you know, okay, that's something different. I like that. Or you made a connection somehow. Okay, so we're going to look at some ideas for that, because when I was a venue finder, and in my last 10 years of training, sales, leadership, and consultancy in this industry, I've been on thousands of websites. I've read thousands of proposals. And there's a language, there's like a marketing lingo that I have noticed, and it's this kind of thing: exceeding expectations. That, you know, perhaps you're the largest hotel group in Europe, you're a leading DMC, you're a one-stop shop, you deliver memorable experiences, you know, you have a convenient or great location where business meets pleasure. These are kind of a lot of the language that I see in the marketplace out there. And, you know, my question is, if a lot of people are using the same kind of language, then how do you stand out? And, you know, commoditization has definitely happened in our industry. And what's so important right now is that you can separate yourself from your competitors, and that the client can see that there is a very good reason why they need to go with you, why perhaps they need to spend or invest a little bit more in order to work with you. Okay, and I really want you to think for a minute, how do you make their experience memorable? That is the people sitting in front of you, the people who you want to attract to have a conversation with you. You know, what do you want them walking away feeling, thinking, or doing? Okay, what do you want them walking away feeling, thinking, or doing? Okay, I'm going to ask you to write that down for a minute. Okay, what do you want them to walk away feeling, thinking, and doing? If anybody wants to share it in the chat room, please do. What do you want them to walk away feeling, thinking, or doing? Anybody want to share? Feeling excited, yeah, and about the property and its potential, thinking how it could work for their program, and in turn sending their RFP. Absolutely. Feeling confident. Oh, I like that, Janet. Very good. In choosing your brand. I like it. Feeling like they won, Courtney. Yeah, great one. Thinking how we guide them, benefit them. Lovely. Feeling valued. Very good one, James. Very good. Clients feel they got value for their time. And that's a wonderful point. Absolutely. They don't feel that you did all the talking, you know. And I think an important part of that, James, will be to get them to do the talking. Okay. Feeling trust, thinking they could be confident our brand, doing a second meeting. Absolutely. Or the contract, even better. Definitely doing business with our hotels. Following through on the purchase or a demo, the second meeting. Great. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Okay. So we're going to get into to reviewing some of them. So Colette, you had sent me in your wording, and I want to definitely address this, but I want to make sure everybody first that have you been in the back end? You know, your profile is there. Have you had a look around and discovered the promotion tabs where you can actually send your emails to the IMEX database? You can go through the database and you will be given options such as this of to, you know, who you want to attract, you know, what country they are in. You know, maybe it is that you just want to focus on the Americas, and so you're clicking on that, and you're, you know, but you can be quite specific in terms of country, location, type of business, but all of that is in the back end. And the IMEX team, they run their own webinars on how to really navigate that and make the most of it. So ensure that you're signed up for them. In the emails that they sent about this workshop, they would have let you know about those also. Okay. Now, I want to share this example. This was from Amir. And Amir said she'd been attending IMEX for the past 6 years and always had difficulties trying to come up with the right content or structure for the appointment emails that, you know, you send out to buyers. And so Amir wanted my advice on what they're looking for content wise and possibly how to help us stand out from the crowd. So I asked Amir to send me what she currently sends them in these appointment emails. Okay. And I'd like your opinion on this, whether you're going to swipe left or swipe right. Okay. So this is what she was sending out. What's your first impression? You're swiping left, too long, lots of words, doesn't feel personal, too much noise. Yeah, white noise, wordy, right? Do you want to read it? Not really, right? Immediately, my first impression is this person, if I take an appointment with them, they're just going to do all the talking and they're going to just try to give me every single piece of information possible about their destination. And, you know, that gets very tiring after having 30 appointments. And you must remember what you're competing for in this show is somebody's their ability to remember you, their ability to want to engage with you. And that starts with your profile and the messaging that you're sending them. So we changed it, okay? And Amir could see then, I know that this comes from a place of you're really passionate about your business. You're passionate about your product, your service, and you know, you want to tell everybody about it. But what I want you to do is step back and think, well, how is the customer feeling? How, you know, what does it feel like for them if they have a few thousand people trying to get their attention and just give them loads of information? It's very overwhelming. So how can you break that down? How can you relate to them on a personal level, or doesn't even have to be personal, but to connect on that human to human level first, and you know, show them that there's a person, a great person behind this. Okay, so Colette, I had prepared this yesterday. I know that we sorted this out over email, since I had thought that this was the wording you were sending to get an appointment. It turns out it's not. It's what you have in your profile. Okay, so I'm just going to switch over to the profile modes because a few people who sent it to me, and we're going to take a look. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again, and everybody let me know if you can receive this. Colette, perhaps you yourself, if you want to take yourself off mute, do. Okay. So the first thing is that it's important to share what your stand number is, but when you're sending it out to people, I would share the exact link to your business. Okay, so this is Colette's business here. But you know, you have to look for it. So as much as possible in your correspondence or in your email signature, to put the actual link to your profile. Okay, so this here is, you know, prime real estate, let's say. So it's these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines that you have that is going to dictate if somebody's going to click and discover that bit more about JPDL. So I think what's really strong is you're saying that it's twice named one of the top 25 DMCs. Okay, can everybody see this, just to make sure? I can't see all the chat comments right now. Yeah, Colette, you can see it?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's really strong. Okay. And then after that, okay, I like that we love helping our clients get record high service scores on their programs. I think that's important, because that's a big result that you help your clients to achieve, but it's a little bit lost in there. Okay, I know people naturally like to say, oh, we're 40 years in business. I don't think that's the thing that's going to make them want to click that little bit more. So you got to put the strongest foot forward first. Okay, and then when I click in, I think your photographs need to be a lot bigger. They have a bigger size that they can take, because they're lost. You know, I'm sure they're wonderful scenes. You know, when I zoom in myself, I can see it, but put in bigger and better quality photographs there, because they're not helping you. Okay, and so I'm going to share on my next slide a few more ideas. So countries of operation: North America, Canada, that's grand. And what you click here in terms of keywords is very, very important. Okay, so the scheduling isn't live yet, so that click here isn't valid yet, but there should be videos here. Do you have a video tab? That is live now, so you should be able to do that. And there will also be a tab for if there's, you know, a party at your booth, if there's an external event that you want to invite people to, that you can do that. And there should also be, I think, a PR tab, so you can put up more information. I'm sure you have some fabulous videos from, you know, amazing events that you've done, but perhaps maybe tell me a little bit more about why you're twice named one of the top 25 DMCs in the world, because it's a massive accolade, you know. And so maybe tell me that, or maybe tell me a little bit more about what client types you have. Okay, so when I was thinking this through, I thought, okay, well, what is it about Canada? Like, what is Canada famous for? What's going to draw me in about Canada, right? Because it's the North Americans, I'm sure, that you want to get up there, right? So I Googled it another little bit, and I discovered that Canada has a new ranking in terms of being a very kind country. And this is the proof. You're kind because you score so highly in all of these. So that could be an interesting thing to put in there, that, you know, you're considered one of the kindest countries in the world. That would make me feel a little bit curious. We're like, what's that about, you know? And I'd want to click in. But also, you know, come ask me, let me tell you about the 15 things that Canada is famous for. You know, you have your ice hockey, your maple syrup. I didn't know it was famous for marijuana. Politeness, stunning landscapes, northern lights, you know, the whole outdoorsy thing, I would immediately associate Canada with that, the maple syrup, all of that, you know. But tell me a little bit more about your amazing country. Just kind of pull me in that little bit more, that I'm curious, okay, that I'm a lot more curious. And that worked really well for Stephanie. Stephanie was exhibiting a number of years ago for her first time from Australia. And I just love that she did this, because, you know, there's that whole difference in English, Australian English, American English, Irish English. And, you know, she says they generally use British English, and she explains, you know, sometimes, you know, the difference in spelling. But I love that she did this little dictionary. Good day is good morning or hello. Arvo is afternoon, you know. So that just tells me a lot about the personality of her, personality of Australians, and it just would pull me in, you know. And she got a lot of appointments. And when I spoke to Stephanie, I met her on the afternoon of her first day at 3 p.m. and she had 5 leads already, 5 requests for a proposal. Okay, so people turned up serious and liking her already, and that's a really important opportunity that you have between now and October 11th. Okay, what do you think of that, folks? Does that work for you? Yeah. Okay. Courtney, you sent me this in as well, and this is your that's your listing. So I'm just going to go into it live on the. Okay, so this is it here. Okay, so immediately when I landed on this, I immediately got it into my head that you're only in-person event management and apps. Okay, but once I read through it, I discovered that you do a lot more, that you're virtual, you're hybrid, you're all of that. So this was a little bit confusing to me, just having these visuals, which are very wordy and are it's telling me information, but I don't really want to read them. I think a photograph here would be a lot stronger. Some photographs of your apps and people using them, people at an event using your apps, I think would be a lot stronger. And there's a lot of information here. Now, folks, you tell me also, is this swipe left or is this swipe right? There is definitely a lot of information in here, and maybe you could condense it and take out what's really, really important. I think putting, you talk about engagement and transforming big ideas into real world results, but this isn't very engaging for me. Okay. So I think you could go back and put another little bit of personality in there. You have amazing clients, because when I clicked into the videos, I'm learning about this wonderful virtual space that you've created for RAMs. So tell me about that. Tell me about some of the people, what people are using this technology for, how they're using that creatively. And while you have great videos here, I would change the order of them, because the first one is really long. And after a few minutes, I just started fast forwarding, and I'm not going to sit through a recording of a webinar at this stage. But this one here told me a lot about your apps and what you can do for the client. So I would change the order of that. I would put that first and RAMs second. Okay, so it's a great use of the video space here. I love that you put up as many as possible, but I think working on this space here to make it a little bit more engaging and a little bit shorter, perhaps. What do you think, folks? Would that help you to get to get a swipe right for Courtney? Yeah. Okay. Is this helpful, folks? Yeah, Clash, was that good for you? Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll keep moving along. Okay. So what we want to do here, folks, is we want to focus in on building trust, because trust, it builds your community and it really builds a connection. And the more of a connection this potential client can feel with you before the show, the better the results are going to be. Okay, so Karina, you are attending from a beautiful resort, 2 beautiful resort properties in Mexico, Belmont Hotel. So straight away, folks, tell me, is this a swipe left or is it a swipe right? I have to open the window in here. It's getting a little hot. Okay, so we're getting it too long. Okay, so the really big thing that stood out for me here, Karina, is that this wording, as beautiful as it is, it is for the weddings market. And you're not going to attract those kind of people at IMEX. And it might be that you copied and pasted from a brochure or from your website, but it's what's really, really important is that you are speaking specifically to conference, meeting, and event or convention, if that's your business, people. The wedding organizers, don't speak to them, okay? Because it's the wrong show for attracting them. You see here, you've got pre-wedding boat cruises. The first thing was when you're talking about petal-strewn ceremonies, that immediately said to me, "Ooh, is this weddings?" And then when I read on, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's very, very wedding focused." Okay, so completely delete that and make it focused on your conference incentive market. I would imagine is very important. Your meetings and your events market, because there's lots there in your website. When I went to your website, the first thing I met was this: let's villeggiatura together. Now, that may not be, from Mexico, because you have lots of European properties. It could be Italian, I'm not sure. But immediately I was like, what is that? I want to know what the meaning of that is. If you know it, please tell me, because I'm curious. But I thought that was interesting. And put photographs up there of groups, okay, of happy people hanging out, chatting, eating amazing food in wonderful scenery, what you have, okay? And that's for everybody there, to put more people in your photographs so that you're helping the client to visualize them, whether it's on a property, at a destination, using your technology, using your organization skills, whatever that might be. Make sure to put that. And tell me about a scene for a sophisticated Mexican fiesta. I'm curious. I want to know, because I want to organize one. Okay. And then I'm reading all about the Mayan sites and, marveling at these amazing temples of Chichen Itza. I was there. I remember it. I loved it. Going deep into the jungle and discovering this ancient tribe civilization that eventually did disappear. And so I'm always curious, like, what can we learn? What could the incentive market, what can the corporate market learn from the Mayans? They were such wise people. So tell me about that. You have these biosphere reserves there. Tell me about that. That's very, very important. Okay. And Marina from Dorado Beach, your photography, your resort looks amazing, but my same point is a lot of the photographs feel like they're for the leisure market. And while incentives is partly that, it also is very business focused. So I feel the incentive market and the corporate market need to see people in there. They need to see groups of people having a bit of fun, laughing, because they want to get a return on investment. Okay, so that I feel is very, very important. Okay, so when I was going through the Belmont resort, Karina, yours also is the same thing. I was just amazing resort, but I was lacking the photographs of people having a bit of fun. Okay. And Marina, for you too, you had sent me a link to the general IMEX exhibitors. When I put in Dorado Beach, nothing came up, interestingly. So maybe you need to put that as a keyword somewhere. But when I put in Ritz-Carlton, I had to look and I found it eventually. So just make sure that you're sending people the link directly to your specific property. Okay, does that help, folks? Because it's not really about how you want to sell, it's about how the planner wants to buy. And it may be that you need to get some new photography. It may be that you you need to get some videos. Maybe your clients have some amazing videos of events at your property, but try and help the client or potential clients to visualize from their phone or from their laptop what an event will look like with you. Okay, whether it's technology, service, a product, or a physical venue. And for the destinations, we have a number of destinations here. If your destination specifies or is specialized in a specific industry, then tell me that. Because the Netherlands, they're very specialized in the life sciences and health. So put that in there. If if it is the car market that you're interested in, so product launches, car launches, you know, put that in there. Tell me that, because you will naturally attract more of the car launch people. And then also, you know, try to make the important stats to stand out, right? Obviously, this is a brochure. You can't put this exactly, you know, presented like this on the IMEX website, but you can tell me how many direct destinations are to your destination, how many minutes it takes to get to your city from the airport, you know, how many flights per week, how many hotel rooms, what's the maximum capacity of conference venue, that type of thing. Okay. And a great example here is that from Bristol, they were named one of the best cities to visit by Rough Guides and winner of the best place to live in the UK by the Sunday Times. Okay, so that is, somebody else has said that and voted you that. So I think that's important to share. You know, that there's 120 direct destinations plus easy connections to London and a wide range of hotels. But tell me a little bit more. Is there 200 hotels? How many hotel rooms? That kind of stuff, because a lot of planners will want to know that straight off. Okay. And Nashville, I love that Nashville brought in their own personality, because you know, with the assistance of our knowledgeable Connect professionals, you won't be singing solo as you plan your music city meeting. Okay. And we'll make your meeting experience a chart topper, you know, so bringing in the lingo, a little bit of personality of Nashville. I thought that was fabulous. Okay. Okay, so how is this relevant to you folks? Is this making sense? Are you getting ideas now on how you can perhaps adapt adapt your you know, your listing, your whatever little bit? If so, I would really love you to spend a minute just thinking that through. Okay. And don't be afraid to put in what your clients say, because they believe other clients. So put, perhaps you work with such a client. This is a client of mine, Valerie, and you know, she has had a client say that the project had a large impact on the business thanks to her reactivity and her creativity. Okay, so just kind of put that type of stuff in here. Viceland Tours, Marina is a client of mine. We've done a number of different types of work together, but what I'm missing here, I know Marina, and she's from the Dominican Republic, and she's this amazing energy and passion, you know, and she has people on her team with that kind of passion. Yet there's also that wonderful German structure and reliability, and you know, making things easy and planning an organization. And I'd love to see more of that come through, that she has those skill sets on her team. Okay, so a few quick pointers. Others way to get appointments: send an invitation to your own database. Don't just rely on the IMEX database. Send wording to your marketing department, whoever it is, to get it out to your database, and go to your lost business database and see, are any of them going. Let them know, invite them to have a conversation with you. Put it on LinkedIn, post it on LinkedIn that you are attending, put it out there on your social medias, add it to your email signature. A lot of people read email signatures. Put it there and a link directly to your profile so they can book a slot with you. Ask existing clients if they know of other potential clients that are going there. Follow the hashtags IMEX or IMEX22 and get involved in some of the LinkedIn groups. I was going to IMEX a number of years ago, I think maybe 2015 at this stage, and I just put it out there on Twitter, and I started following the social media hashtags, and I met Eduardo Chaillo. I responded to some of his comments, and we decided to meet in person. He's the area president, South America for Maritz, and wonderful man. We had a glass of wine together. We've been in touch over the last number of years. I interviewed him for my book. And this year, he has come to me with a business opportunity. It'd be a fabulous business opportunity to partner with him on that. And so it just shows you it can take a while. But I met him also through LinkedIn. Okay. So what I'd like to see now is do you have specific questions? We're coming up with 7 minutes left. And I just want to briefly share with you a conversation idea. And I can go over this more in the September 20th one because it's so important. Clients, they don't really care about your business. They care about their problems. So you want to see, are you addressing the problems that they have or the results that they want to get? And have you case studies? Case studies are really important. So think like the customer. That's what's going to give you the edge, okay? Because a great pitch is about opening the conversation, okay? So in a few minutes, I'm going to ask you, what are you going to change about your profile or your email marketing as a result of what you've heard today? And if you really want to change something up, if you really want to think different, because it's hard to do it by yourself, right? If you really want to try and get out of the box, let's say, I have an opportunity coming up for you. There's courses that I run online, and I'd be very happy to have a chat with you about any of these. I'll put them in the put it in the chat box there if you just want to have a browse and think about it. But in that, I will go through a lot more in detail, helping you with your profile, helping with your email marketing. How do you stand out? How are you going to sound different? And very importantly, on the day, how are you going to lead that conversation? Because it's such an important part of that 20 minutes, you could spend it doing all the talking, showing all your photographs, but then you're just going to blur like everybody else, or you can really stand out. I'll have to tell you this photograph or this story about Connie another day. I just don't have time today, but I'll do it the next day, because that's step 2, that killer questions, and really being able to have a strategic conversation with clients is so important. And it's an important time to practice your listening skills. So I'm going to press play on this, and I'd like you to sit back and try and figure out, how many birds are you hearing, or what are you hearing? Is there other stuff going on? And perhaps share that with me. Okay, you ready for that? Can everybody hear that? Okay, how is that? What were you hearing? Six birds. Very good, Melissa. A cow. Yeah, several birds, a cow, and a goat. Very interesting. Farm sounds. I think there was about 7 or 8 birds there. I'm not a bird expert, but I sent it to a friend of mine who is. So he reckons there's at least that. It's the dawn chorus. It was taking last year. So there's a lot of males there, and they're all chitty chatty, and they're trying to attract their mate. And interestingly, the birds are, they're mainly talking to their own species rather than over and back to each other. And it's a sheep actually in the background. There isn't cows in those fields around there. It's taken just a few minutes from my home. So a great way for you to practice your listening skills is to get out into nature, because that's what's going to help you to stand out at these shows. And I feel so strongly that we have to stop the dates, rates, and space conversation. You know, what are your dates? Is the city confirmed? What's the setup? You know, that type of thing. And we got to get under the hood. What is the event really, really about? How can you partner with them on delivering the results that they need to deliver for their stakeholders? And in that course that I spoke to you about, that's the kind of conversation that I'll help you to lead, because there's a frame, there's a way to really take control of a conversation. You know, do you ever feel that the client has control and you're just kind of taking notes? You want to make sure that you're leading the conversation. So how do you open it and take the lead? And how do you move them through all the different steps and get to next step and make sure that you have follow up and that you hear back from them? Okay. And Lilo here is with Swiss Hotel in Tallinn, and she learned this methodology, how to lead a conversation, that conversation frame, and what killer questions to ask. And she was really surprised because the client said to her that nobody asked those kind of questions. They just show PowerPoint presentations, you know. So show how interested you are, have the right kind of questions. And this helped her, you know, that shift from us to you to all about the client really worked wonders, and how she thinks of the whole sales process. Okay. And mindset, it's a choice. It is always a choice. You can continue to do the same thing, or you can spice it up and do something different, and of course get different results. So LinkedIn is a fabulous resource for you to use also. You know, send personalized videos to people when they accept your appointment meeting. You can do that through LinkedIn, only on the mobile aspect of it. If you want more information on how to do that, let me know and I'll do a quick video. Okay, because clients, they don't care about your business, they care about their problems. Okay, so if you want to go a little bit deeper, I'll share that link with you. It's in the chat box there. Conversations create cash, so make sure you're focused in on the cash or the conversations, because it helped Anthony to convert business for 220,000 from one particular client. Okay, so I'm going to put this link in the registration box, and I'll send it out to you in email also, because we can go another little bit deeper. We can have another conversation September 20th. At that stage, the appointments will have been live about a week, so you'll be getting an idea as to you know, what's working for you if you're getting accepted. And you'll still have you've got 4 appointments from IMEX that you can send through their database, so you'll still have another 3 of those to go. Okay, so folks, I'm wondering, it's top of the hour, what did you get from the last hour? What is your big takeaway? What are you going to do different as a result of the last hour of your life? Because hopefully you got something from it. Otherwise, we've wasted our time. Great. Shorten profile. Yeah, put a bit more personality into it. You got to look at the profiles. Yeah, you got to remember also, people don't read an awful lot of detail anymore. They just scan, and they'll make an assumption based on what they're scanning. So you have to write in scannable format, right? So the most relevant information pops out at them. Okay. Yeah, making it a little bit more catchy. Be creative and have images and descriptions. Fabulous, love it. Frederica, revisiting the profile and making it a lot more attractive. Wonderful. Look, folks, I'll send you an email with the link for the next one on September 20th. I'll go through this also and see who is the winner of our book. I'd love you to connect with me on LinkedIn, and also to maybe, you know, write something about what you got from today's session. I don't have my LinkedIn profile up. Let me just, and feel free for you to put yours in the chat box there. I'm happy to connect with you. Okay, so you'll find mine under under Ciara Feely. Okay, it is on that last slide there. Okay, I'll just. Okay, folks, I'll have a read through the chat box there, and I'll see is there any particular questions that I didn't get to, and I'll make sure to answer them. Does anybody want to come on the call and ask me a question? It might be quicker than me trying to read through all the chat box here. Okay. Paul, you had a question there. Do you know what the buyers see when they get hit with hundreds of seller emails? Are they opening based on an attractive subject line? Absolutely. Emails are always opened based on an attractive subject line. In your own emails, try to put in some little emojis. That also helps for them to stand out in an inbox, but they get a fairly standard HTML almost style email. There isn't big graphics or anything like that, so that they just go through they don't get caught in the spam filters, and they can also choose to log in to the IMEX system and just view what messages they have there. So subject line is really, really important for sure. Yeah, great question. Okay, folks, thanks a million. Anybody else have a last minute question they want to come on and ask? No? All good. Great to see your feedback there. Appreciate that in the chat box, and I'll be in touch via email. Okay, take care. Namaste, everybody. Bye.
Bye.